Nice, Jack.
Thursday, August 6th. It's the Breaking Entering live show, marketing news. I got my money suit on. Gino, how are you feeling?
Feeling good. Are you feeling like Sydney Rose right now? Feeling good?
Hey, WPP's feeling good right now, Gino. We're going to talk about that in a second. Additionally, some big guests today. Antoni Porwoski's back, breaking an ant in the ring. We have Dan Jeffries, founder of Jeffries Consulting, to talk about the state of the pitch. He's one of these pitch consultants.
That's not Jeffries like the investment bank, right?
I wish. Walter Geer III is joining as well. Came out this morning, Ad Age, Bonilla on the scoop, of course. The Bonilla scoop and score, they call it. That Walter.
Who scoops more, Bonilla or Ewan nowadays?
Let's
get him on to talk about it.
I don't want to start anything. Walter Geer III, he was now the former CCO of Innovation for North America at VML. And so we're going to talk about what's next. Maybe we'll get a hashtag the decision sort of situation on the show, Gino. A lot to cover, but first.
Breaking news.
Come on, we got it, Gino. We have our Super Bowl. We have the first Super Bowl commercial locked for next year. What do you got?
Cutwater is heading to the Super Bowl for a national spot. You ever drink one of these? Don't drink more than two, Jack, because you will feel it. It's like
you?
2 shots in one of those bad boys right there. Please drink responsibly. Anheuser-Busch brand. It's also the #1 fastest growing alcohol brand. People are loving these. I think the social media, like there's challenges and stuff that are like not healthy. But it's catching steam here. But heading to the Super Bowl, we don't know which agency is working on it. I'm trying to figure that out.
Anheuser-Busch. Who's been doing? I don't know who does Cutwater's advertising or like what their agency or who their agency is.
I asked the PR person. She said we're not going to reveal that at this moment.
Is that official? Yeah. Did they actually?
Yeah. We're not revealing the details just yet. So.
Oh, come on!
But wow,
you should respond. Just said, come on.
I was like, please. It's August. Super Bowl.
Is this the earliest that we've ever?
I think
since we've been in the game, which has been many years. In all of our years of covering advertising and marketing.
Been in the game for a long time, Jack.
This is the earliest I could ever remember an announcement that a brand is in the Super Bowl. We get in August. Gino, football season hasn't even started yet.
No.
We haven't even played a game of the football season. Cutwater's in the Super Bowl, though. They're thinking about it.
Yeah.
Interesting move, though.
We know that the agencies are working on.
Lock in.
I'm trying to say something. We know the agencies are working on Super Bowl commercials right now. It's just the first one to announce it on our radar is by Cutwater. #1 fastest growing brand across total alcohol. That's spirits, hard beverage, beer, and wine. Cutwater is #1.
#1 fastest growing brand. And
this is coming from Anheuser-Busch here too. So.
Yeah, you wouldn't. People probably don't even realize that. You don't realize it. Everything that you've ever had alcohol-wise is owned by Anheuser-Busch or frickin' Molson Coors, or is there another big one? What's it? Starlight? Not Starlight. It's
Constellation.
Constellation. Thank you. So
Who owns
big
that?
one.
Does AB InBev own Constellation brand?
I don't know. But the Cutwater Super Bowl confirmed, Gino. We're already in the season. 'Tis the season. But they more than doubled in size in 2026. I think a part of that, I mean, Cutwater's been around. It's not like I feel like Buzzballs to me has been more viral, more like kind of out of nowhere. The Buzzball renaissance, which like Buzzballs have been around, but I feel like have recently gotten memed. But Cutwater. What's your thought on the strategy? You take your best performing, fastest growing brand and you do a Super Bowl commercial on it.
Pour gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'm all in on that. I think that's a smart play here. Let the people know.
Yeah, let them know. Keep it growing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's kind of like, you got something here for sure. I've never had a Cutwater in my life.
Oh, dude, you got to get yourself.
And you're saying you can only drink one?
I mean, there's about it's like 13% for some of their stronger ones here. Like the martini ones. They have some lower percent ones too, but that's around 2 shots for those 13% ones.
Very
in
interesting.
one can.
That's Cutwater. Gino, next story, interesting one here. Oren John, the internet's creative director, tweet yesterday. I thought it got the people going, at least in the niche. But if you put the biggest marketing agencies in the world in a room and ask them to scale a carousel account in a niche on social media in 60 days to 50K followers, could they do it? Could any of the top 100 marketing agencies do it? Maybe Vayner. No paid allowed, of course. So of course, you think, the Breaking and Entering Media Instagram account is kind of like that. And we have 52.4K followers. But yeah, this is interesting. 7-figure RFPs are out there right now for this exact ask. Gino, your thoughts?
I mean, it took us 6 years to do this. 2 years full time, I
Well,
would say.
yeah, sure.
2 years full time to do it. A lot of trial and error there. It's hard for us.
Not professionals either.
No,
We're not
no.
professionals.
We figured it out through some grit here. It's not easy stuff, but
My take is that
your
I think
take?
if you took the individual creatives out of the biggest marketing agencies, they would be able to do it easily. The issue is that I think, and that's kind of the point that Oren is making, and what a lot of people in the comments are saying is like, there's just too much. There's too much in the way. There's too many hurdles you have to leap over in these massive marketing agencies. This guy says, worked McCann, Ogilvy, BBDO, WPP. None could. After 10 years in the industry, I realized they only care about PowerPoints and can. What a drop there from anonymous Twitter user.
Yeah, Caribbean.
Blake, the next one said, my bet is the lowest paid person at the company could do it.
That's probably good. That's a great take.
It's a great take because the whole point is that like, building a niche, a carousel account on Instagram is kind of like free cheese still right now. You can, if you have a good aesthetic and you have a consistent thing and you have interesting stories to tell, people really do. It's a pretty winnable game. But being at like these big marketing agencies, the concern, I can't speak from experience, but what we hear is that like any big company, it might be difficult to move this quickly and be able to experiment the way that you kind of need to grow that quickly. You kind of need to just be able to go. You need to be able to just not have to send an approval for.
If they created an internal like task force, I feel like they could do it.
100%.
And like you get your interns, you get a social lead. You can hire somebody too, and just if that's all they're doing for 2 months,
Right.
yeah, I can do
But
it.
yeah, that's the interesting thing. I think, but that's what you kind of need in the social media game. You need to let them just be able to do whatever they want. That's why I was saying like there's plenty of talent. Like the talent isn't the issue.
Yeah.
There's these creatives, these people that work at these big agencies, you do it easily. But it's just like you also wonder. I mean, it is very valuable to build in the niche. The big marketing agencies, I don't know how many of them are getting tasked, or they might have quote bigger fish to fry than building an account to 50K followers in a niche.
Yeah, I haven't followed this, but it's a fun like brain exercise, and I feel like they could do it. 2 months.
Okay, let's move on. We're going on to the next thing, Gino. It's going to be the 2-minute drill. Welcome to the 2-minute drill. But before that, actually, rewind. This has been presented by Tatari. Shout out to Tatari. Gino, hit him with it.
If you're an agency, you've had this conversation, your client's maxed out on paid social and search, and they're asking what's next. For a lot of brands, the answer is TV. But whether your agency is new to TV or already buying CTV, building a complete offering can mean adding more partners, more platforms, and more reporting complexity. Tatari gives agencies a simpler way in. Whether you want full service control or more hands-on partnership, where Tatari's team runs point, you plan, buy, and measure linear TV streaming and online video in one platform without handing off client relationship or building a large specialized TV team.
That's right, Gino. You keep the client relationship, create new revenue opportunities, and give clients another scalable channel when their existing media mix starts to plateau. And because Tatari buys directly from publishers, more of the budget goes toward media instead of unnecessary ad tech fees. Today, more than 400 plus brands and agencies trust Tatari to plan, buy, and measure TV. Take DAC, a full funnel media agency that use Tatari to bring linear and streaming together for its clients. They unlocked premium inventory that programmatic buying alone couldn't reach and saw double-digit growth in customer accounts and revenue. So when a client asks, what should we test next? You have a stronger answer. Go to the link in the comments for Tatari.
Tatari time.
Description. It's Tatari time. It's always been Tatari time. Up next, let's go into the 2-minute drill, Gino. Our first story is MySpace is making a comeback. What do you got?
MySpace is coming back here. I think there was a documentary that came out about MySpace here, and the owners were saying, we still have this thing. It's still a website here, and they're thinking about bringing it back. But a lot has changed since the famous top 8 friend group, Jack. Remember that?
Yeah, and you can put the music, you can do that on Raya. You can put, not that I would know, but you can put music on your Raya profile as well. So
what song would you put on
MySpace? If I did have a Raya profile, I would put One Time by Justin Bieber.
One Time.
Yeah, OG, first ever Justin Bieber.
And do you think that would do well for you on Raya? Has that done well for you?
I don't know. I don't know how well that would do. We're living in theoreticals and hypotheticals. MySpace, though, not hypothetical. It's a real website. Don't try and make MySpace happen.
Hey, Jack.
I don't care. I don't want it. I don't really want it. I got enough social media. We don't need another social media. Every 6 months, I hear about a new social media app that's going to be, let me guess, they're going to have no AI. That's what they're going on. But seriously, though, remember they tried to bring back Vine?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about that.
Or Yik Yak, remember that one?
Yik Yak had a moment, and then I feel like it went away, and then it had another moment. And it's pretty brutal on there. So MySpace, I don't see it. I don't see any big brands talking about, our paid spend on MySpace anytime soon.
I bet you Gary Vee will be. I bet you Gary Vee will be will be posting on MySpace, organic MySpace posts. And you'll be sleeping on it.
Like Threads I feel like is still not even people. I hear little blips of Threads, but nothing much. But MySpace is where's the guy Tom? Shouldn't he be in this?
What do you mean?
The guy that started MySpace.
Yeah, I think he's involved in it, right?
I saw an image of him that they put out, and they AI'd it to make it look more high quality, and people got so pissed because they're like, dude, the whole point of that picture is that it's like a time capsule to a time when it was a blurry image.
Right.
That's my take on MySpace. Chat TJB, this is wild. So we talked yesterday or the day before about how much these AI startups are paying for billboards in San Francisco. A new AI billboard was built by this creator. The person's name is Tucker Bryant, and he bought this billboard for chattjb.org, where it looks like it's an AI chatbot, but it's just him responding to people's questions. The crazy thing is that it's really exploded. If you go to chattjb.org, you will see that he has a little note here. You have to say that it's becoming a community project. He's getting hundreds, if not thousands of people messaging this app now. And so he's turned it into a community project where you can sign up to be someone that actually talks to these people.
Interesting. Very interesting. And do we know why he's doing this? Did he have any rationale behind it? Was he fed up of all the AI, you think?
Yeah. Thankfully, JR here is going to ask him for us, and we'll see if he responds. But he's kind of like a content creator, I believe. This person, and sometimes this is just like a great social move.
This is fascinating.
But yeah, your thoughts on this? A little bit of rejection for the AI billboards in San Francisco.
I'm loving it.
Was he typing there?
Yeah, let's go
back. Or he was thinking?
It's thinking.
Come on, respond.
It's typing.
Respond.
This actually reminds me. Tombras had a 3 times shortlisted. What does it say?
Oh, you can have it notify us. Okay, cool.
It takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Tombras actually did this, but on a smaller scale here in a town. I believe it was in South America. It had the town for a day to save water. It was like a can line activation that they did. So it kind of reminds me of that. And I obviously am going to love this thing and get people involved and go against the big AI platforms. I'm for it.
Yeah, I might get into it. Hey, maybe we can toss some ads in there. Ooh. What do you say? Come on, could be pretty good. I think people would feel better about receiving ads if they knew that they were communicating with a human. Like if you typed in
they call that word of mouth, Jack.
All right, WPP released earnings for, I guess, the first half of 2026, and the investors in the stock market is loving it. I believe that they had their best single-day performance in the stock market since the 90s.
Wow.
So the Elevate 28, for those that are unfamiliar, it's WPP's restructuring plan. They're essentially saying we got to right the ship, and Sidney Rose is going to be the one to do it, and they lost they dipped in revenue, but not by as much as people would have expected. So we know this whole thing is they're kind of still feeling the effects of new business losses last year that's impacting how revenue shakes up year over year. But they've got a lot of new business wins, and they're maintaining operating margin, and it seems like people are convinced, analysts are convinced that they are heading in the right direction, or at least stabilizing to the point that they expected.
This is how I would want analysts to view my life.
Yeah.
Like you're losing, but like not as bad as we thought you would be.
Well, my whole thing is you got to manage expectations.
Totally. This is all we do on Wall Street is expectations.
This is a masterclass for anyone that works a job anywhere. You can get ahead very quickly if you do mediocre work, but people expect you to do shitty work.
Yes.
This is how I made a killing in the game in my commercial banking and consulting career. If you just let people know, like, I am not good at this job, and then you end up doing okay, people are like, he's getting a promotion immediately.
Yeah. I mean, would you say that's what WPP is exactly doing?
The thing is, like, it does take a lot to like have a plan, and then you start to actually execute it and execute it ahead of schedule.
Yeah.
So I think they made the smart decision of like they kind of raised the white flag. And when Sydney came out, I was like, hey, we're kind of like doing shitty, but here's the plan. We're going to execute it. So people are like, okay, we can get behind that. Next up, Gino, AI agents will be advertising to AI agents before you know it, and it's already starting. Did you have a chance to look at this?
I did not have a chance to look at this one. Tell me all about it.
So the idea is that so this example is on Time. So like Time Magazine, with the website. They have their ads on there. And you would expect, like, when you search something in AI scrapes the internet. They can like see the ads, of course. But what's happening now is Time is redirecting those AI agents into like a different sort of like stripped down version, like all text version of the website. Okay. So that's easier for them to like comprehend and read and scrape through.
Yeah.
And so now what this, I think it's called Mobian, is the ad tech partner, is helping brands like Ally Bank create AI agent specific ads that are targeting the AI agents that scrape through the website. And so like the human, like we would never see these ads, but in the stripped down version of the website, they created specific ads within that stripped down text for AI agents to scrape through.
Oh my goodness. And can they be influenced, these AI agents? Aren't they on like a journey? Didn't I prompt them to do something specifically? Aren't they tasked with one specific objective? Like, can they be influenced?
Yeah, it's the whole point. Why do some things pop up on your AI responses, some brands pop up and some don't? How come when you search on the internet for toilet paper and some brands show up and some don't?
So if I just said like, hey, like, find me the cheapest whatever, find me the razor blade or something like that.
Well, for
like shaving.
Ally Bank, it's like, how should I set up my 401k?
Oh my
And then
goodness,
it'll be
yes.
like Ally, it'll give you probably the answer, and then like in the sources, it'll be like Ally Bank or something like Ally Bank says that you should do this. So it's like AI agents, advertising to AI agents. So we'll see what happens there.
Oh my goodness.
Is there something?
I'm going to start an ad agency that.
No,
get the screen on me. I have something to say here.
Yeah.
I'm going to start an ad agency where we just create ads for AI agents. It should be like pretty easy. So join me.
Speaking of AI agents, we got something from Tracksuit right now, Gino. Big time move here. We got some data. Data story time from Tracksuit. Shout out to Tracksuit, the exclusive data partner of the Breaking Entering Show. Also, quick shout out to Rob Mayhew and AVA live in the chat right now. Also, Caitlin Ledoux says Yik Yak is very much still alive. She's a recent college student. Yik Yak is still alive, Gino.
Look at that.
Don't even worry about it. Okay, so why I mentioned AI in Tracksuit. Got something interesting here. I think people are very interested in the ChatGPT versus Claude marketing race. People forget they started paid advertising within 1 week of each other.
Right, that was all the beef. That was what the beef was about, with Claude calling ChatGPT out in the Super Bowl.
What do you got here, Gino?
Right.
You want to take us through this chart?
Yeah, let's take this through here. So the AI challenger is closing the gap on America's most recognized chatbot, one funnel at a time here. So the headline stat is Claude's U.S. awareness has grown 19 points versus ChatGPT's 6 points. That's the widest gap of any funnel metric between the two, Jack.
All right. So what does that actually mean? What like think about this in real life. You had ChatGPT, which was like the incumbent, and just everyone knows. It almost became the verb. It almost became like Google it, ChatGPT it, and it kind of still is. But like Claude is gaining ground compared to ChatGPT. I believe there's a name for this, Gino. There is a name for this for the nerds out there.
It's a classic.
Yeah. It's the Ehrenberg-Bass pattern.
Oh yeah,
of course.
It's I believe the Australian Institute over there in Sydney. That's where I think that's Byron, who's like leading that there.
But the idea is that, I mean, Claude's gaining ground on awareness comparatively and like growth. But the fact of the matter is that people are still considering and investigating and using ChatGPT more than they are with Claude. Interesting stat here from our friends at Tracksuit. 54% of users or the demographic believe that ChatGPT is innovated to Claude's 46%. That's, I feel like, directly because ChatGPT just got the head start, right?
Yeah. Absolutely here. And, you're going to see Claude get more of that awareness compared to ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is already down the funnel here. That's the Ehrenberg-Bass pattern.
Yeah,
Secured that lead.
This is great. Don's cringe cycle. So you have the cringe origins. Is this just like AI? Yeah. Claude thinking cap was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Surveillance trough, we get into the snap specs. And then the slope of cringe acceptance, Gino. We are getting into the acceptance. This is like you climb cringe mountain and you get to the bottom and then people start to accept it a little bit. So it feels like Claude has positioned itself in a certain space. ChatGPT is kind of for everyone. Claude's supposed to be like safe. But I think it'll be interesting if we do end up in a Coke Pepsi situation.
Ooh, I would love that.
You just got, I mean, it's, who's going to spend the most on marketing, right?
That's right.
Is that kind of what it comes down to?
I'm not exactly sure here, but I don't want us to forget about Gemini too.
All right, let's.
Good ones.
That was the Tracksuit story. Shout out to Tracksuit, the exclusive data partner of the Breaking and Entering live show. And Gino, we got a big show ahead. Yep. We have some big guests. Do you want to give us a quick intro into the next guests?
Yeah, we got Antoni and Porwoski heading up next here, talk about Maine and some things going on in the celeb brand partnerships world. And then Dan Jeffries will be following on right after that here, as founder of Jeffries Consulting, Search Consulting. Which agencies are winning, which ones are not, what are brands asking for? That's what we're going to ask Dan. And we're going to finish it off with Walter Geer III, former CCO of innovation at VML. I believe he has like 1 million patents and create a lot of the technology that helps us put out ads today. So excited for that. Let's kick it off with Antoni Porwoski. Are we good, team?
Yeah, let's bring him in. Antoni Porwoski, welcome back to the Breaking and Entering show. Oh, put the guns away. Whoa. How are you feeling?
I got a Gargoyles t-shirt off of eBay. I paid more for shipping than I did for the actual t-shirt.
That's right. That's right. Thrifting, just balling on a budget. I get it.
Shout out eBay.
As someone with my attire, I'm not one to, I guess find a deal. I'm always willing to.
Let's talk about the jacket. Where'd you get it?
What's going on with that?
I got this on Amazon. This is just my money jacket, Antoni. I felt like this was the right time to just
money. It's dollar. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
$100 bills.
I get it now.
$100. Yeah, not just any dollar bills. It's $100 bills, Antoni.
Nice.
So, all right, let's talk. Let's get into it. You were on a boat last week when we talked to you last, and now you're on the shore. Is there any brand that you missed? Is there any brand you're like, I was on the boat, I needed my blank?
Is there any brand that I missed? I mean, it was definitely one of those, like when you're on a boat, you have it's like a tiny kitchen with 2 burners, and it's like they start heating it up at 3:30 in the morning so it can warm up like the showers and everything. So you don't get to eat all the food that you necessarily do. And see now, because all these articles are coming out this week that we're consuming too much protein. And
What are they
as a
saying?
guy who I start my days with a shake. And so I have this thing called a Voltrex, I think. And it's literally a little plastic blender with a little spinny thing, and you press a button and you can like take it in your hand luggage and make smoothies, and they mix and you don't have to use a spoon and like make a whole mess. So I kind of missed that, but now I'm thinking like, am I consuming too much protein? So now I need to like figure it out and speak to my physician and, see if I'm doing.
Are they saying, who's saying that now? Because I thought it was 1 gram per pound you weigh.
And now they're saying, I think with a lot of like the blue zones theory, where like the areas in the world where people are living to 100, and we're realizing for aging, if you're in a certain age bracket, if you're like 60 and above, you should actually be like decreasing that amount of protein, that it shouldn't be that much because other things are coming into play.
Okay.
But I mean, it's like any trend. We get so deeply obsessed with one thing, whether it's like keto, paleo, or whatever, and then Atkins, and then we drop it, and then we revisit, and it's like, oh God.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of. Like the fiber stuff is its own thing.
Your sister's a nutritionist.
Thank you.
RD. We got to call her up.
She's a
Let's
dietitian.
get her on.
She would be great. She would be great on the show. She's a fan, Antoni, by the way. She's a fan
nice.
because of the your commitment to avocados and nutrition, and so she's been a day one, I would say.
Okay, well, offline and I'll start a chat with her and get her take on this.
For sure, for sure. It's her 40th birthday next weekend. I'm going back to Chicago to celebrate with her, so I'm really excited about it.
Are you going to take her anywhere nice? No shortage of incredible restaurants.
There is no shortage. I will see. I mean, she doesn't usually let me decide what we eat. She usually takes.
She's calling the shots.
She's calling the shots.
Jack's the youngest of
Be a visitor.
6.
What's up?
You get to be a visitor.
That's right. I'm going to be a visitor. It's going to be fantastic. Yeah. It's going to be amazing.
What's been amazing in the marketing world, gentlemen?
Okay, so we wanted to talk about this. We, Ellie brought this to our attention, our resident beast, savage legend. She's talking about, Ciara, who has, staked her claim in the reality TV universe, and people really love Ciara, like as a person, as like a character, as a personality, as a celeb. She's been doing a ton of brand deals, lots of brand work, and kind of, capitalizing on this moment that she has. The interesting thing, because we talked about this with David Beckham in the World Cup, was like, holy overexposure, like a lot of David Beckham in the World Cup. But it feels like the sentiment on Ciara is that we're cool with it because, Ciara is that we're cool with it because people actually like her.
Interesting.
Antoni, what are your takes on that?
I mean, okay, there's definitely a lot to unpack there. It's interesting also hearing sort of, because I'm on the side of like with brand deals, sometimes I get to a point where I'm sort of like, oh, am I doing too much? I've had friends who were in the space who tell me like, say yes to the deals, keep it as authentic as possible. Try to like show your voice so it doesn't feel cringe and all of it feels like an extension of you. And then people forget and then they tend to move on. Clearly, I think two things can be true. Overexposure definitely is a thing. I do notice when certain people have a lot of stuff that are going on, and I've been in like the ebbs and the flows of a show comes out and then a lot of brand deals come, and then you're in a position where you're kind of in the zeitgeist. You want to jump on that momentum. If you're like me and you have this fear of like, when are my 15 minutes up? Say yes to everything, overexpose yourself, burn out a little bit, and then take some quiet time to like go write a memoir or whatever. So I kind of get both sides, but I think it goes back to, it's like when we were chatting about how celebrities, I have a friend who has a theory that celebrities can be pedestrian or non-pedestrian, where they're like accessible or they're non-accessible. And I think with Ciara being in a reality show, always showing who she is, kind of very unfiltered, makes it a little more palatable for people where people are rooting for her, like sort of like get that bag, And then with David Beckham, I mean, look, everyone's got bills to pay. Doesn't matter how like big they are or whatever. And I'm sure he has like a certain life to maintain. So I'm not judging him for saying yes to these things, but I also understand why people are probably giving more, positive feedback to Ciara for doing this than, David Beckham, for example.
Yeah. And it always does come down to that. And I was thinking like audiences are so aware of it as well. And you're like, I think you're seeing it in a lot of different places where people can get excited when brands show up in the right way if it means that they're kind of like supporting people or projects that bring joy. So like, I just think that the way that I can understand how that happens, because I feel like you're seeing it in like entertainment too. It's like, and even with this live show, it's like, we wouldn't be able to do this live show if it wasn't for our sponsors, shout out to Tatari and Tracksuit. And I think like audiences can get behind that because it's truly like this is free. This live show, this content is all free because of our sponsors. And I feel like I could see that as an individual being the case as well.
And I think it comes down to intention as well. It's like, I don't know about all of, David Beckham's deals, but one that came to my attention, I was, speaking to, second time I mentioned my physician, Dr. Roberts. He has me on this, like I did all this blood work and then we started going over like supplements I actually should be taking because I was taking the wrong ones for a long time and my liver levels were off and it was a whole journey. But then we found ourselves at a place where he basically suggested these certain things that I take. And one of them was IM8 Health, I think it's called. It's that little red thing that's like all over Instagram. And David Beckham is one of the faces of it. And that's a brand that I definitely, it's one of the only ones that I've seen with him that's very prominent on my algo on Instagram primarily. And I look at him as a voice of authority. They have all these other people that are there. So for me, that's something that makes sense. He might not be showing that much of his personality. I think he's a lot more protected than Sierra is, for example. His brand and his job is just, fundamentally different at its core. But in that respect, it's sort of like it was actually like having a voice of authority where he's like, look, I'm like a literal athlete. So I'm not gonna, mess around with just saying yes to, caffeinated drinks when I want to do something that's a little more meaningful, that's about like gut health, that's backed by science.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like athlete for like a health and nutrition item, but like
Yeah.
with
Sierra.
Sierra, like she is like herself authentically, like always out there as like a reality star. So it's like whatever she endorses, like people can probably get on board with of her fans.
And she's playing in different spaces as well. And I think because she's only ever been herself and kind of like very open and candid about her personal life on and off of the show, I think it's, like she was a nurse, right?
Yeah, that
And
makes
that's
sense.
something that I think is relatable to a lot more people know what it's like to be a nurse than it is to be like a professional soccer player.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
More
it
relatable.
does make a big difference. I was thinking about this too, like I don't know. Oh, fuck. Oh, Cardi B. Cardi B. I feel like she does a lot of partnerships, brand deals. She was just in the Old Navy ad that just came out. But she also like in all of her partnerships, she is Cardi B. She kind of just like messes around. She's like hilarious. She's kind of like unhinged, and those play well with audiences because people are like, "F yeah, Cardi B." Like I'll get behind anything Cardi B does because when she does this stuff, it's actually funny and she's unhinged and she's just herself.
I think Old Navy was a perfect example. When I saw that, I couldn't help but think, I imagined her on set and or even like in a pre-pro call, if she does those, like pre-production, where she's kind of like, okay, I see your vision, but this is how we're gonna do it my way. Or even in the moment she decided like, I'm not gonna read a script that doesn't sound like me. I'm gonna do this the way that me as Cardi would actually do it. And that's why I buy into it. And, I think why a lot of people eat it up.
Yeah, I know for in our scenario, we were able to talk with people that worked with Cardi B probably earlier this year, I think. And it was like they kind of were saying the best thing that came of it was when they just like got done with the script or whatever, and they just kept the camera rolling and were just like, do whatever you want. They're like the behind the scenes, like the stuff that they couldn't air on TV was just absolutely insane. It was just incredible. But like you kind of would rather have that and have to bring someone and reel someone in than have to like force someone to be themselves. Like that's just like a weird premise.
I do wish brands leaned into that even more. I see a lot of it, but I think more would even be better if you really just like you hire the talent for a reason. People are going to respond to them if they are, as authentically themselves as they can be. So like let them go crazy. Read the script, do the points, and then have a conversation. And as a brand, I think they should have a discussion about like which like talking point or selling point should we really nail? And are we willing to sort of like sacrifice the person being the wackiest best version of themselves so that we can get a messaging point across or
Yeah.
figure out different ways to show that messaging?
Yeah, 100%. I also saw recently, you put out a little cooking video.
Yeah,
And
the pepper grinder.
Yeah,
You see
I
that?
mean,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this guy. Look at this guy. Is it? I mean, I know you do stuff. You've done stuff. You need that kind of content. I mean, in the kitchen, Anthony in the kitchen. I mean, how quickly? I mean, are the brand deals just lining up?
I mean, I'm definitely incredibly grateful, and that's why even having this conversation about like saying yes to things, I'm, super fortunate that I'm in a position where I get to work with all these guys. But like with the cooking videos, it also forces me to balance it out because on social media, I'm an extremist. I'm either on a trip and I'm posting every single meal I have, every interaction, or I just kind of want nothing to do with it and I want to be completely detached. But when I'm having more brand deals, I can't just have my page be that. So I'm trying to switch it up with other things. And with the cooking videos, I'm actually in the beginning process of figuring out my next cookbook. And so I'm kind of like
Ooh,
testing the waters out of like things that are going to work. Kind of like it's like my version of doing market research of like the stuff that people respond to.
wow, that's actually really
Nice.
smart. If you just did, all your different recipes, just take the top, however many recipes that perform the best on social. It's like the ultimate testing ground.
Yep.
And we're getting those metrics as well. I mean, I think YouTube is a space that definitely can't be denied. In every meeting that I have for like other projects, it's the platform that comes up in conversation all the time. So I'm figuring out like what's my space there? How do I, because now I have a page there with all my cooking videos that are being uploaded in short form, long form. I'm learning about that whole language. And it's like this whole brand new space. But instead of looking at it as like, oh shit, this is yet another platform that I need to lean into because that's where the world is shifting towards or has been shifting towards, I'm trying to look at it as an opportunity of how can I use it in a way that actually makes sense for my life and the kind of content that I want to put out. Because if I feel the pressure to do it, it's going to feel inauthentic and it's going to feel, like work. But if it doesn't, and if I'm thinking like, okay, I'm going to put out 20 videos and we're going to see like a lot of people want to know how to roast a chicken and make a smoothie, not together, but separately, maybe together. But that's stuff that's really helpful.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it is. And
Mine would be scrambled eggs and
hot sauce.
protein shakes as well, but just 2-ingredient protein shake, just the powder and water.
Isn't that terrible, Anthony?
You gotta add a little more than that. You're just drinking liquid chalk at that point.
You gotta chug it. Yeah, you gotta drink it fast.
Rate my smoothie.
He's got a
and then
good
we'll let you
smoothie.
go. I go triple berry, frozen fruit, triple berry action. Okay. And then we go in with the vanilla protein powder. Mm-hmm. And then
Vegan or whey?
Whey.
Okay.
And then we go in with the oats, cup of oats. And then we go in with a handful of spinach.
Spinach is really good. Okay, wait. Are you buying the baby spinach in a bag or are you buying like real spinach?
The baby spinach.
And you like the real?
Buy the real spinach. It tastes so much better. It's a shit ton cheaper than the box stuff. I highly recommend it. Give it a try.
Well, I don't get the whole. You put the oats in there, you blend, like you get little chunky pieces.
Yeah,
in there.
it's a little bit of crunch, and
it's like raw oat. Like
yeah, it's badass.
Chunky.
Well, my thing is, I don't.
Some of us like liquid chalk, and then some of us like chunky smoothies.
I like it that when the spinach just doesn't taste like anything. I don't want to taste the spinach.
Well, so you should check my previous video where I basically recreated the green Latifa from berries because it's fucking delicious. You have to have a ripe mango though. That's important.
We got to get what we need to do.
Is get a vitamin.
Is get the Anthony Porwoski smoothie at Air One next.
All right, let's manifest it. I'm down.
All right, Anthony, thank you so much for joining the show. Always
Smoothie
a pleasure. We'll see you in the neighborhood.
See you guys.
See ya.
Send me a link for that jacket off Amazon.
Yes, if you didn't hear, he said he wants the jacket. He wants the jacket. We got something there. Boom. Come on. All right, Gino. Before we get into our next guest, I want to give a shout out to Tracksuit.
Ooh, this episode is brought to you by Tracksuit. Look, we all know this is an ad. Before your eyes and ears glaze over, listen to me.
Listen.
Answer one question. When's the last time your strategy was based on current data? Most brand tracking runs on last year's numbers. Tracksuit doesn't. Its continuous brand health data, awareness, consideration, perception is updated every month, so you're never bringing a stagnant deck to a live conversation. We're doing a live combo right now, Jack. Think of it as your GPS, not your rear view mirror. Shows you exactly where you stand before you make your next move. Tracksuit. Up and running in 30 days at gotracksuit.com. Check out the link in the description.
Shout out to the chat. Chat's just popping off right now. Love the chat. Shout out to the chat. Barkley OKRP just put in the chat. The official Barkley OKRP just put in the chat. Jack, the highlights. Come on, old news people. Come on. All right, Gino.
You calling out Barkley like that?
Yeah. Well, listen, we gotta get things going. We gotta appreciate the bid, by the way. Up next, Dan Jeffries is going to join the show. Dan Jeffries is the founder of Jeffries Consulting. Jeffries Consulting, most notably, just helped facilitate the Popeyes anomaly pitch. And you remember for the sickos, the Frankie Rodriguez CEO at Anomaly said it was a well-run pitch.
Oh.
Great run pitch from start to finish. I'm going to ask what that means to Dan Jeffries, but Dan Jeffries is one of the more prominent pitch consultants. We're going to talk about the new business process. Anything else before we bring him in, Gino?
Yeah. No.
Yes? You have something else?
No.
No, you...
No, I don't have anything else.
Okay, no, we got nothing else. Let's bring him in, Dan Jeffries, founder. Come on! Dan, how's it going? Oh, Dan, you're on mute.
Dan, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
He's back. Good. Doing
I
well.
was just watching your feed from earlier on. I was watching you talk about smoothies, so I was just laughing at that. I'm afraid.
Oh, that's all good. It's all good.
What'd you think of Jack's
yeah.
smoothie recipe? Yeah,
I'm with Jack on the fruit and the whole spinach thing.
the whole health thing.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
course. Look at, I mean, Dan, you look great. It's no
Yeah, you're
surprise.
glowing over there.
Gino looks ghostly.
I always have. I don't have that. I don't. Whatever, guys. Let's talk about freaking new business.
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Dan, what's going on in new business world? What are you seeing from brands nowadays? Because you work with brands to help the brands find the agencies. Is that a fair oversimplification?
No, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, so that Popeyes one is a great example. I worked with the team at Popeyes to help them figure out what they were looking for. I did some work with them up front to kind of design the process, and then we ran that whole process. And at the end of it, they found Anomaly. So yeah, that's really the job I do, is to kind of guide a brand through that, give them advice throughout the whole thing, and then run the process for them.
Interesting. You design the process with the brand, specific to the brand there. So some might want like 30 agencies whittled down to 5, and this next what do the variations look like for running these processes?
If it's 30 agencies, I don't want any part of it. And nor should any agencies, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're all reasonably similar. You start, there's a bit of a funnel thing. You start with a kind of RFI. So there's a little bit, maybe 8-10 agencies at the top end, and then you slim it down. You shouldn't be taking more than 3 or 4 through to a deep process like we did with a Popeyes one, where there's, it's a lot of meetings, there's a lot of, workshops. There's a lot of time spent with the agency and the client to get to understand each other and know each other's cultures. One of the reasons that Anomaly was so successful with Popeyes is because they spent so much time together. They understood each other's, the ways of working. Anomaly's culture came across, and then also the work itself. Just the fact they got so much great skill in that organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. So can you explain that, what does a well-run pitch look like? Yeah, take us through, like, what are some of the things where you're like, you look back on it and you're like, yeah, that one worked. That was a good one.
I would say, communication is key. I think any agency would tell you that the hardest thing for them is when they get ghosted, or when there's a lack of communication or a lack of clarity on timing, or expectations. I think the worst types of pitches are those that just start in March and you don't know when they're going to end. And in September, people are still scratching their heads to figure out what's going on. So I think any pitch that's clear on timelines, on expectations throughout it, what needs to be delivered when the next meeting is, when the next delivery of any content is. I think that is what agencies are looking for. They want clarity. And then the other thing I think is a good amount of time with the agency and the client. So as much exposure to the client as possible. You ask any agency, you ask Frankie, you ask people like that, they want to see the client as much as possible.
Yeah, you got a date. Yeah, like you got to get to know each other. And do you think that's
is Cupid here?
Do you think it's even more important now? Like, obviously, it's always important. It's never not been important to communicate. But today, because of the way that I feel like the agency work that gets done for client can change and vary so much, and it has to be way more dynamic than maybe it used to be. Do you think that it is more important than it's ever been for that kind of figure out what the actual problem is?
Yeah, I kind of think it is. I think what's interesting is that during COVID, we went back to not having meetings, obviously. So we didn't have that face-to-face time for about two years or so. But what's interesting is come 2023 and 2024, we started to get back together a lot more often. And now we're doing those face-to-face meetings like we did pre-COVID. And I think it's because there's a real need to spend time together. Look, we all live like this for half our time now. We do remote calls. We do this sort of thing all the time. But nothing beats getting together and sitting in a room together and thrashing it out and understanding the reality of what it's going to be like to work together. And I think that's what we're trying to create in those pitch processes, is short windows of what the reality of working together is going to be like. So we try to create workshops where the client will go to the agency and work with them, spend 3-4 hours with them, maybe have a dinner with them, just get to know each other. And I think that's a huge part of it, is understanding whether they can work together. Because these agencies are so important to clients. They're an extension of their own team, and they're at the coalface with them when work's hard. It's Friday night at 5 o'clock and something's just pivoted and they've got to work the weekend together. they really need to trust each other. There's got to be a level of sort of like familiarity there, and I think that's what you've got to start building.
How do you walk that line though? Because you hear a lot of agencies are like, the pitch process has become out of control. Like how much time and energy that they have to spend on it in these pitches where it's like, you kind of mentioned it earlier, like you would never take on a pitch where there's like 30 agencies. That would be insane. But how do you walk that line? How do you balance, like they do need to get to know each other and build a relationship, but the agency shouldn't be just like doing the work for free?
Definitely not. I mean, I think clients that ask for too much, I think agencies have got to be really careful about what they want to give away. The challenge we got though, Jack, is that it's a competitive landscape, and if one agency does it or two agencies do it, then other agencies are going to have to follow suit. And so it's up to agencies to stand their ground and not give away work for free. I think the way that I try to design the process is that we don't take many agencies through the whole process. We thin the herd quite early, so that we're only taking 2 or 3 agencies through. And that way we don't overburden a number of agencies, or the client for that matter, but it means that it's less, well, first of all, your chance of success if you're one of those agencies has gone up because there's not as many of you. And so the investment from them is probably going to pay off more.
Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything that you're noticing in the past couple of years, maybe in 2026 specifically, of what brands are looking for in agency partners specifically? I think with the Anomaly and Popeyes, it was creative and strategy AOR for the US.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about what you're seeing with brands today?
So I think the biggest shift I've seen over the last couple of years is social. 2 years ago, I didn't do any social first or social only pitches. Social was always buried in a creative AOR or a creative pitch. It was never a standalone thing. And about 18 months, 2 years ago, we started to see larger brands segment that off. And what they were doing was they were recognizing that these big creative agencies probably didn't have the depth of platform capability that they said they did. And they were going after specialists and running pitches just for specialist social. And I've now run a number of them over the last couple of years, and that's a real specialism, and it's a great opportunity for smaller agencies to get into large clients. And it's actually eye-opening when you look at the capabilities in there compared to what we're seeing with maybe larger creative agencies.
Yeah, what are like some of the differences that maybe from the pitching for a social AOR versus the big, massive, traditional sort of creative AOR?
I mean, I'll give you a story. One of the clients I work with, big QSR, they had a great creative agency doing fantastic work, but they recognized they had a challenge in social. They just weren't hitting their mark in social. That the audience wasn't reacting. And part of the issue was they thought they knew their audience in social, and they really didn't. And so we ran a social pitch for them. We did, a good process. We started with a number, and then we thinned it out to about 3. And those 3 went through a whole process. And one of those agencies did an amazing thing that I'm still struck by. They set up dummy accounts that were built on the target audience, the true target audience in social for this client. And they set up these accounts in like TikTok, Instagram, etc. And then they ran them for, I think, about 4 or 5 weeks, giving them little cues, but letting them run and just seeing what content they were absorbing and recording it, basically. And then when we went to their offices for a workshop, they had screens up on the walls and they just ran this content. And it was like Joe over here and Fred over here and Diane over here, whatever it might be. And these were the true target audience. She was 18, he was a 19-year-old guy, and whatever it was. And the client walked in and they said, okay, so what do you think your audience is looking at? And the challenge is this particular CMO he'd been basing it on his 18-year-old daughter looking over her shoulder on Instagram going, well, that's what my audience is looking at. And they said, no, this is what they're actually looking at. And it was really eye-opening to see that those feeds were so particular to that audience. And it gave them the permission to then challenge the client and say, okay, now you know what they're looking at. We've got to create content that fits in that and doesn't disrupt it, but actually sits in there normally and flows. And I think that's the level of platform understanding and social understanding that needs to happen. And I'm seeing that a lot more.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's fascinating. I mean, even you go down like social, and then I think soon you're going to start seeing more of like the platform segmentation, like
Yeah.
Instagram agency, TikTok agency. It's like you're getting to that point, but it's super
I think the other thing
interesting.
is I think influencers as well, Jack. I think like influencer agencies is a big thing, and how they can be allowed to do their own thing. I mean, your last guest was talking about Anthony was talking about how to use influencers in the right way and letting them have like free reign a little bit, like giving them a tight brief, but then letting them run with it and go, okay, well, what's the overage? What do we when we get them to the end of the brief, like keep the camera rolling and see what they do afterwards. There's something about like using influencers for the true value they can bring. But the big art form there is getting the right influencers for the brand. Just because an influencer has a million followers doesn't mean they're right for your brand. And I think that there's that again is a skill that clients are looking for, is understanding how to use influencers better.
Yeah. My last question here, or last question for you, I guess, are you seeing agencies, like independent agencies, smaller agencies, get rejected from the process because they do not have media capabilities?
Uh, Not, I think not having media understanding is the challenge. I think if they can understand how to get their message into the right media, I think that's more important than anything. I think having media capabilities is great if the client's trying to put it all together, but you don't have to own the media, but you have, your ideas have to understand the media. There's like, and I think the issue is sometimes when you own the media becomes more important than the message. And that's actually counterintuitive sometimes. So I think smaller agencies, as long as they have a true understanding of how the message is going to hit the media. So going back to that social example, that agency earned the right to kind of be there because they understood the medium really well, probably better than anyone else in that room. So they really were front and center. So any creative they do is going to be geared towards that. I don't think in many pitches independent agencies are being pushed away because they don't have media. It's only if they don't understand how their message is going to get out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, we hear a lot of like a lot of agencies. They have like close sort of like partnerships almost. Creative agency will have a partnership like with a media agency, and so they'll kind of like work together.
Yeah.
You can kind of be like, if you're a creative independent agency that doesn't have media, you can say like, well, we've got this agency that can do the media part of it if you want the creative, and it's like we can take care of it.
That's a great partnership if they've got it. But I mean, I don't know that clients are always buying it together. Some do, but not all.
Yeah, I feel like we hear it from like the massive global, your like Fortune 30 companies, where it's like the WPP wins the $7 billion account, and it's like integrated across everything. I guess that feels like it's in a different category of complexity where they would want integrated because it just matters.
And they're buying an operating system there. To be honest with you, Jack, it's more than media. They're buying all the functionality behind it, the data, and everything.
Yeah,
We have that.
We don't even.
Media.
We don't get into that much. Like, it's too. I'm not. The second we start, talking about operating systems on this show, we might.
It's a bit dull. We don't want to go there.
I want to hear about the social agency that put the screens up of all the target audience. That to me is more.
I'll be honest with you. I still think that was one of the best things I ever saw. I sat in the room and I was just like, bloody hell, because I thought I understood it. I've got a 19-year-old daughter, and I remember thinking, I understand that audience. And I was watching this thing going, what the hell is wrong with these people? Why are they looking at this?
I love it. Maybe we'll have you on again to talk about the wildest thing you've seen in a pitch. The statute of limitations should be over.
Whatever your NDA is, we just need to line up with the NDA.
And we might be doing something. We might be planning something to help you out with some of your search there as well. So we'll follow up about that.
The game is changing, people. The game is changing. Daniel Jeffries, thank you so much for joining the show. Absolute pleasure, and appreciate your time.
Man. Appreciate you. Have a great week.
Yep, have a good one. All right, Gino. Should we keep it rolling?
Yeah.
That was interesting. That was
He's
fun.
a good guy.
He's a good guy. Good guy.
All
Really
these agencies are trying to woo him, try to get in the
of
pitches
course.
and stuff.
I was gonna say it's
like we can kind of connect on that.
Of course, we can connect. Gino, our next guest is Walter Geer III, now former CCO of Innovation at VML North America. He announced, it came out this morning, Bonilla on the scoop from Ad Age, that Walter is departing the agency. What he's doing next, We don't know.
We're gonna
Surely
ask
we
him.
will ask.
We're gonna ask.
Let's bring him in. Walter, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, fellas? How you making out?
Oh, great. You got a great setup there. Great
Thank you.
background.
This is my demotion room, right? When COVID hit, like my wife and I were building out on, we turned a bedroom into an office space, and this is my music room. And then like every piece of furniture we started getting, it started feeling more and more like hers. And so eventually I was just like, all right, I'm just gonna set up downstairs, I guess.
That's
and
great.
So my laptop and my monitor is on top of my stereo system, and so like here is where I lived for the 6 years. So
It's great. It looks. I mean, it looks fantastic. That's how you make use of the space. I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. I get it.
Thank you.
Well, Walter, how you feeling? News
I'm
drops
feeling
today.
great, dude. I'm feeling the most immense amount of relief, man. I feel fucking great, and it's, I think every person at a point in their career should take a moment where you can actually just breathe and stop and just put it on pause for a minute and be present, man. So that's what it's all about, man. Being present.
I love
That's
it.
great.
I love it.
I mean, you've had it's just 6 years at an agency, especially like from 2020 to 2026, probably felt significantly longer just because of like the pandemic and all that. But looking back on this chapter of your career, what did you learn from this last 6 years compared to the rest of your career?
Oh my gosh, man. I learned so much at VML, and quite frankly, like guys, like this, I've only been in the industry, the agency world, for like 7-8 years.
Wow.
Right. So before this TVW, you guys were talking about MySpace earlier. I was part of the executive leadership team that sold MySpace to Chris and Tim, so we could go on for stories for days there. But to be honest with you, man, like VML has some of the greatest creatives like in the world, right? And so I have nothing negative to say about any of them. John Cook is an incredible CEO and a good friend, and I think that for me, this is just a moment where it's time to kind of like stretch my arms and do something different. So what I learned a hell of a lot about what it means to actually create incredible creative. But I think what I was able to bring to the agency was really the ability to understand what culture means and how to tap into culture, like in a real meaningful way.
Yeah, makes sense.
I mean,
and like doing it at a scale. Like I just think that it's always so fascinating. Like the best work that I feel like we see is when you take a very specific subculture, like inside joke almost kind of thing, and then you expand it out to the rest of the world, and it gets everyone excited about it because like at some level it is relatable, but it hits harder when it actually touches on something that people experience in their specific lives.
You hit it right on the head. We don't, I think we're so caught up in the mix of AI, what AI can do and this and that. And don't, get me wrong here. Like I use it every day, all day, right? But like we're forgetting about what it means to create real fucking meaningful work that elicits an emotion from people, right? Maya Angelou always says, people will forget what you've said and done, but they'll never forget the way you made them feel. But doing that is landing exactly on where you were just saying, which is like, you need to be able to understand what it means to pull out cultural nuances, small pieces that allow an individual to see a piece of work and then envision themselves in it, right? And this is how you actually create work that's meaningful, work that's memorable, work that creates moments and times that people will carry with them forever and ever.
Is there anything specific, like in the last few years, any work that you've either been a part of or seen that you think kind of encapsulates that?
Yeah, I think quite a few. There's one I really would love to talk to, but I can't disclose. But I mean, it's like it's a giant one when we talk about what it means to solve problems around things like Alzheimer's. But covered California, man. So in doing great work also means you have to have CMOs who are brave. And I think there are a handful of them out there, but not enough. And so when I think about that, this gentleman, Glenn Young, who is the CMO of Cover California and a great client, we did some great work for that was called For the Love of Californians, recently. And he is a CMO, and they are a brand that is not afraid of the moment right now. And Cover California essentially is Obamacare for California, the largest one in the U.S. And you got to imagine now, at a time where we are going through right now with our current administration, there are things that brands will say and things that brands won't say, right? So it's a fearful moment for brands, but they kind of wanted to stick their neck out there and say, you know what, we need to reach a multitude of audiences, whether they be Black, Asian, LGBTQ, and we're not going to back down to this situation. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be disruptive in a manner that's so like overly over the top with the work that you create. But to your earlier point, subtle nuances. So an example of that would be, in the one campaign we actually did for African Americans for them, We had a few scenes, like one where it's a gentleman and his daughter are in the bathroom and he's doing her hair, right? And he's laying her hair down and whatnot. And as we're kind of closing in on that image, what we then see is he's wearing a wedding band, right? And then when we actually pull back and pan back a little bit, you see directly over his shoulder in this kind of subtle fashion, a drawing that's in a frame that obviously was done by this little girl with crayons and whatnot of mom, dad, daughter, dog, and house. Right? So implying, or going after, stereotypes, right? This is not a broken family. They are indeed a happy family, a together family. And so most people will look past that and not even recognize it, right? But for that young girl or for that black or brown family that sees that, they will see themselves in that work. And it is also why it's been one of the most impactful campaigns of the year for them, right? It's again, like seeing, when you can see yourself in a piece of work, that's how you draw people in and pull them in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
It was, I guess, like I'm curious as well about like the title that you had of CCO for innovation. What did that allow you to do at VML the last 6 years that you couldn't do with a traditional CCO title?
Yeah, that's such a good question, man, because like every job I go to is like, it ends up being roles that they create around me because I'm a bit more of a pentathlete than someone that goes down one particular lane. And so like I am experience design, I am innovation, I am a dev, I've done front end design, like brand experience, etc. And so with this role here, I acted as a traditional CCO on work, like that one, like some Microsoft work, etc. And on other brands like Coca-Cola, I was able to run, experience design work, right? So it allowed me to pivot a bit. But at the end of the day, my entire job was really focusing on how do we tell a story for the brand that is meaningful and can really engage a shit ton of people. And when we talk about innovation and what innovation means, if I ask 5 different people the definition of innovation, you get 5 different answers, right? For me, it's just about brands doing something that is different, brands doing something that they have never done before. It doesn't necessarily mean it has to be technology or AI. And so everything I brought to the table for those brands was new ways of those brands thinking about how they showed up in the world, right? AI, platform stuff, product innovation, etc.
It's awesome. I mean, I think that we have to bring up the fact that, I was doing my research, of course, that you invented the skippable pre-roll ad.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get brought up. I imagine people talk about it all the time. So I don't want to make you have to like talk about it more.
All good.
But we jumped out of our seats. Of course, like if anyone's gonna be excited about that and have this opportunity. But I guess for the people, can we talk about that story? How you invented the skippable pre-roll ad?
Yeah, so when I was at Viacom, I worked with a couple folks and we created the very first biometric usability lab. We partnered with MIT Labs. And essentially what that was a lab that we created where people were hooked up to all these different devices, looked like you were in the ICU, and we were able to pull things like pupil dilation, arousal, which is sweat in the palms, sounds really weird, eye tracking, facial expressions, whether you're leaning forward or backwards, the heartbeat or heart rate. And so through this, I could tell you what works based off color, speed of animation, position on page, anything, right? And so at the time, I was actually developing 10 ad products a month. Do the math, that's a hell of a lot throughout the year. And then we had 5 that were actual winners, and Skippable Pre-Roll was one of them. The first iteration of that, and if you look at the patent, is actually called Porta-Pass. The reason why is because the first demo that I came up with was actually done with Pepsi. And so the first demo was a Pepsi bottle, and it was a Pepsi bottle that was in a bug unit. A bug unit is also another one of my patents, by the way. And so the bug unit sits in the bottom left-hand corner of the video. When you scroll your mouse over that bottle, it tipped it upside down and now took your 30-second spot and turned that into a 5-second animation of the soda filling up the videos, right?
Yes.
And then that was done, goes directly into your content, and then we got a lower third that came up that essentially said, this skip was powered by Pepsi. Now, we came up with that, everyone was like, fucking no way, right? Our entire sales organization at Viacom was like, there's no way a brand is gonna pay to skip the fucking ad. Like, it's just not gonna happen. And we did a few. We rolled out that. We rolled out E-Trade with the E-Trade Baby, where the E-Trade Baby talked over the 5 seconds. Is like, feels good, fast forward, take control, right? It went to IAB. IAB, didn't want to standardize it because they were like, it's too much. But the original idea was always that if I can get someone to interact with your brand for 5 seconds, it's a hell of a lot more powerful than dropping them in front of a 30-second spot that they didn't want to see in the first place. You're giving them a positive reinforcement by allowing the ability to tap and skip on something that they didn't want to fucking see in the first place. So that's where it came from, and then YouTube jacked it and went nuts with it.
Yeah, well, the original idea is so much better than what the experience is now.
Yeah, but it was like, how do you scale? So there's a big conversation when we were launching it and rolling it out. Is just how do you scale something like that that's that immersive and that interactive? It required a lot of build on every single one that we actually executed and went live with. So that the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 was just like a very dumbed down, iteration of it.
Yeah, it makes sense for the scaling purpose. But come on, like that's so good. Like that, the way that you explain it too, the idea of like, that's like, I love when brands do the thing where, or they say this presentation is ad free because of this brand.
Absolutely.
Like where they do the full presented by a takeover, and it's like you have such a positive association with the brand that got rid of all the ads.
Ad free.
Yeah. I mean, that was the intent, man. It was some time ago, but a whole other story there. But like, I don't know if I want to say this or not.
Walter, you can.
So
this is it.
So all right, I'll say this. Viacom, when I left. I created 5 patents there, and then left a couple months later because people like Nada Strat, who was at the time their executive vice president of digital ad sales there, left to go to MySpace as their CRO, and she took like 4 people with her, and our intent was to go sell MySpace, right? So like a month after I rolled out these products, we left to go there. Ever since, you all know the story of Viacom, right? Paramount and et cetera, leadership is entirely new there. They are still sitting on that patent, and I guarantee you no one in their leadership knows. That's all I'm going to say about that.
So okay. So is that something that like what could you do with that? Like what could you do with it now? Like how could they figure it out? They own it and they don't even realize it. This may or may not get to them. Also, like they probably do they even know what they would do with it? I mean,
I know what I would do. And that's another thing I would tell you all. Don't fucking build shit on your company's time. If I had that idea solo and went and did my thing, you guys would never ever know of me.
We would have never
I'd be like, dude, I'd be Tom. I'd be like fucking taking photos off someplace on an island. You'd never fucking hear from me again.
Well, but then we wouldn't have had this interview and we wouldn't be able to talk to each other, Walter.
Indeed.
So
let's see here. What did you say in the article? I made the decision to leave because I wanted to be really thoughtful about what happens next. That could mean transforming an existing organization, creating a new model, absolutely joining an independent company or agency. Can you give us any more hint other than what you said in the Ad Age article here, Walter, for us?
Yeah, so I will say that I am having some really interesting conversations, right? And reality is this, right? I think that how often do we take risks on ourselves? Like we don't, right? Because there's always this fear of the unknown, this fear of like, well, if I do this, then what about this? And reality is also like, not everyone can say, oh, I'm gonna just leave my fucking job, because like you have bills to pay, you have mortgages to pay, you have a family to support. So, I like to say that, I talk about taking risk in the reward that comes from it, and I think for me this is a moment to just like eat my own lunch, right? And so of course a long conversation with my family, my wife specifically, but like this is a bit of more of a gamble, right? Like it's hard to be at a company and interview when it's time that you think to leave, because you have to be secretive and you can't tell many people. Then you walk in the wrong door, then someone sees you, and then it's a conversation. Then you got to deal with the drama at your job, and then potentially get fired. So I think this is being fair to myself and being fair to VML, and like a bit of my LeBron moment.
I love this.
I'm a free agent, so like let's make it work, And so right now, what I'm saying is, I'm open to a lot of different things. I'm open to a lot of different conversations. But my biggest thing is like, I'm a disruptor at heart. You know, it seems like everything I do is super calculated, right? Like how this whole thing rolled out, everything is calculated. And so, you know, I want to be at a place that is not afraid to disrupt. I want to be at a place that understands the importance of creating safe environments for their employees, right? Because when you have safe spaces, your creators will do and say the things that they are afraid to say in most rooms, which then presents bigger ideas for brands. So I want to be in a place where, you know, people believe in the importance of what it means to be present, both in your job and with your family, right? Because I read a meme 6 years ago that stuck with me to this very day, and I share it all the time with people, and it changes everyone that fucking hears it. And it's simple. The meme said, do the things that make you happy, because the day that you die, your job will be posted before your obituary.
That stuck with you for this long. That's incredible.
And it's fucking it's real though, right? So like, spend your time doing shit with the people that fucking matter, right? And if that means having to move around or shake things up, then fucking shake the tables, man. But like, it's important to be present in your life with your family and in the things that you want to be doing. Don't spend any of your time doing the shit that you're hesitant about doing.
I love that. Walter, legend, man, legend.
Thank you.
I want to just offer it up to you as well, that if you do want to have a LeBron the decision moment, we would be more than happy to be your ESPN.
Let's fucking rock. Let's go.
Okay,
let's
sick.
do it.
Yes.
We can set up a date, an announcement.
Yes.
Go public with it, you know?
Come on.
Yeah, that's good.
That's huge.
Let's
That's
go.
huge.
Let's go.
All
We
right.
gotta have poppers and shit and flyers.
Of course. We'll do it. Well, we could literally recreate. We could do whatever, however we want to do it. I think
It would be epic.
it'd be epic. Well,
But I need a money blazer first.
We got one.
We'll get you the money blazer. I got an extra one in the back, always for
do it.
situations just like this, Walter.
Let's go. Let's go.
Appreciate you taking the time, and regardless, congratulations on whatever comes next for you. You've obviously inspired and motivated so many people in the industry, and you can count us too as people that are also inspired by you. So appreciate your
it.
time.
You both are the greatest. Thank you.
Thanks, Walter.
Thank you, sir.
Take care. Have a good one.
That was Walter T. Geer III. Moving on, he's taking on whatever the next role is. And it sounds like we got just a soft confirmation on.
He can be our bosses. Our boss.
I was gonna say,
Want to be our boss, Walt?
yeah. I mean, he worked at a real media company.
Yeah,
like
big
Viacom.
time.
Just
He's making stuff.
He's actually doing something.
Yeah.
Unlike you, dude. Unlike you.
I'm trying, man.
What a show. Thank you all. Presented by Tatari and exclusive data partner, Tracksuit. Thank you to them. Talking a lot about ads. You know, they sponsor a show.
Talking about ads.
It talks about ads for advertising people. So you just have to respect that level of self-awareness. And these shows don't happen without Tatari or Tracksuit. So shout out to them. Gino, anything on your mind before we let the people go? It's the weekend, pretty much.
It's the weekend. What are you doing this weekend?
Probably gonna have some Cutwaters. Cutwater. If you're just joining now and you want to watch the rest of the show, we talked at the top of the show about how Cutwater has
is
announced
going to be in the Super Bowl.
it's the Super Bowl. What do you think? What do you think the commercial is? Do you want to throw out a couple ideas real quick? Should we do a quick brainstorm sesh for Cutwater's Super Bowl? If you're in the chat, and you have an idea for the Cutwater Super Bowl ad, let us know, and we'll just steal it and say it's our idea. I think, what if they did Cutwater break, Cutwater, tequila.
It's got to be Pirates. It's got to be on sea.
All right, McConaughey.
Who's the celeb? Let's start there. Because you should go celeb first before the idea.
This is all right. So
who do we
celeb
want?
first, of course.
Antoni Porwoski.
That'd be good.
We want it on sea. I'm just feeling like
Let's
Pirates.
go. Anthony Porowski, Shabuzi, Andy Cohen, and Lady Gaga are our four celebs.
Crew out at sea.
Out at sea, and then there's a Loch Ness monster played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. That says
It's gonna. If you don't give me the treasure now, I'm gonna eat you all.
I'll be back with Cutwater. Storyboard.
Ellie, what are you looking at?
Ellie, JR, how was the show? But
Good besides the
Oh yeah, we cut out there.
I mean, we had a little bit of technical difficulties halfway through, but you know that stuff happens. I mean, you can't expect it. Even like that.
I know.
All that
That was
is-
intentional that we picked the celebrity before the idea.
Oh, no, I was dead serious. You pick the celebrity and then you figure out the idea later on.
I disagree with that, but that's great.
Why?
Why idea? Why?
All right. Thanks to everyone for sticking with us through that. Gino would not. Hey guys, stop saying that Gino would pick the celebrity before the idea. Seriously, it's not cool. Please stop. Not cool at all.
That's my new. Actually, I'm back on that now.
That's
I'm back on that.
flip flop.
Back on.
That's great. Yeah, it's gonna be a good weekend. What do you got this weekend, Gino?
Nothing planned at the moment. It's Molly's birthday.
Are we gonna go to
friend
Kiki's?
Molly's, yeah.
Are we gonna go to Kiki's?
Tomorrow.
Would love to go to Kiki's. Would love that.
That's the hope before summer goes away.
Fuck, dude, it's shitty weather right now. I also, a little leasing update, rent update from Jack. I submitted an application for an apartment in the Upper West Side.
Ooh, nice.
Ever heard of it?
Nice.
How's your search going? Gino and I are actually breaking up. We're
Yes.
not going to be living together after this
no.
month. People are not happy about that either.
No.
People are like, it's over?
I'm moving in with Mac. Mac, Jack, and I used to live together in college, and we're gonna do 2-bed, Mac and I, and we're looking at East Village.
That's sick. East Village.
Application's in, but I'm worried about the credit check.
I got
Worried about that.
I did this today. I mean, I'll let you know how mine goes because they did a credit check on me, and I got an email from American Express saying urgent action required.
Oh, really?
Yeah, saying like someone has inquired about your credit, pay your credit card bill. I just ignored that.
I put you as my manager. So if you get a call from the landlord,
Yeah, let's do how would that go? Ring, 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 ring.
hi, is this Gino's manager? We're inquiring how much he actually makes and if he's a good employee. And
Who?
Gennaro, sorry.
Oh, Gennaro. Yeah, he's
that would not do well.
That's how that conversation would go.
If anybody's giving up a 2-bedroom apartment in New York City, please let me know. Starting September 1st.
You know, the apartment hunt shit is a fucking nightmare.
Street Easy. You got to help us out. We like your campaigns.
I know the Street Easy stuff is good, and they do have a stranglehold on the rental marketplace in New York.
Yeah.
That you talk about.
I'm seeing like
the funnel. You talk about the sales funnel. Street Easy. Although they must. I think they have the sponsored. They have sponsored listings, featured listings.
You got to buy on it now.
And then I think you probably have to pay if you want to list your apartment. But
I'll tell you what. What's with these AI images of the apartment listings?
Dude.
It's like the computer generated like furniture, and then the real photos that are like crouching on the ground, the very low level, so it looks larger.
They do half. They do 0.5.
0.5.
I did a tour of an apartment in recently, and we walked in, and it literally was about 15 feet total. Like there was no room. It was legitimately a prison cell. But the photos were
Beautiful.
It was bright. Mm-hmm. I got there. The person was like, "This is like we call it a tree house, pretty much."
A treehouse?
Yeah, that's how they described it.
Oh my goodness.
Well, that was the show. Thanks everyone for joining. This has been presented by Tatari. We will see you on Tuesday at noon Eastern time on LinkedIn, YouTube, and X. If you missed this show, we're going to post the full thing stitched together on YouTube, Apple, Spotify. Follow us at Breaking and Entering Media on Instagram and LinkedIn and wherever the hell else you spend your time. We will see you next week.